Hey everybody, what's going on? Cesternino back for another season of the Survivor Exit Interview, where every Thursday I'm going to be talking with the latest player who got voted out of Survivor. So watch this space. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the podcast version to get everything we're doing here on RHAP. You can hear all of my podcasts when you go to GetRHAP.com. And that's where you'll hear the Survivor Know-It-Alls and my recap today with Zach Wertenberger. Our old school interviews we'll be doing all season long, all right there, GetRHAP.com. Today, we'll talk with Stephanie Berger, the first player voted out of Survivor 48. Hope you enjoy our conversation. And of course, I love to read what you have to say here in the comments on YouTube. Hey, Stephanie, what's going on? Rob Cesternino. First off, let me say hello to you. I am an air sign, a Libra as well, and I get along great with other Libras.
That makes one of us.
Yes. Okay.
Actually, Mary's a Libra.
Okay.
We Libra ladies.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about it. And could you just tell us a little bit about that tribal council and how heated it may have gotten when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was less focused on how heated it was and just more focused on making sure I was making the right call with my shot in the dark. I went in knowing pretty confidently that I was going to play it. And so, like, heat or no, like, those are like kind of not, that's like kind of indiscriminate to me. What I'm paying attention to is like, what is, how is what is happening right now informing my gameplay, and how should I take what's happening and make decisions from there?
Okay. So what made you play the shot in the dark?
I mean, I walked in. Cutting room floor footage is me and producer Britt. And I sit down and literally she's like, "All right." Camera goes up and I'm like, "So it's obviously me tonight." If no one is, look, it's Survivor. If no one is scheming with you, then they're scheming against you. That's how it works. That is particularly how it works in a tribe of six. Like, there's not that many people to talk to. So if they're not talking gameplay with you, you can be pretty confident that either they're not playing at all, unlikely, or they're playing with other folks. I mean, I said it in at Tribal also, like, everybody is out here playing with a capital P, right? Like, no one came to Fiji to look at the stars or do anything else. Like, they're coming out here to play, and everyone on Bula is hungry to play the game. And so, like, I was clear pretty early, but I kept collecting information over the course of those 3 days that made it really apparent to me that I needed some sort of Hail Mary to be able to be,
Yeah.
uh,
And not Mary Zhang.
still
Yeah.
what?
And so
Oh my
you're
god, wait,
saying,
Hail
yes.
Mary. It's Jung. It's
Sorry. Okay. It's only it's first day for me in the new season.
I know,
Okay.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
But now we always know how to refer to mother.
Yes. Okay. Stephanie, so you're saying that it was just so much that it wasn't one particular thing that happened. It was just that people were not really talking to you a lot about strategy. And that's what caused you to feel like it was going to be you. And that's what made you play your shot in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, over the course of the days that I was there, it was next to impossible for me to get folks to talk strategy with me. At one point, Kevin tells me I'm his number two. That doesn't make air either. Kevin's like, "Mary's
Yeah.
my number one, but you're my number two."
Maybe like in the emoji sense.
Like a poop emoji?
Yeah.
Poop emoji joke?
Yeah.
Oh, Rob, it's a tough day, and you're calling me a poop emoji?
I'm sorry. You're right. I was wrong for that. I was wrong for that, Stephanie. In the episode, a big part of the narrative was, you talked about how in your professional life, you're somebody who's very assertive, you're a business person, you run a company, and you've had a lot of experience. So we'll just go with me here. Okay. Yeah. But in Survivor, you're going to take a little bit more of a back seat. You're going to sit on your hands. What made you decide to play your Survivor game that way?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it is really challenging for a woman to get to the end playing a super, super dominant strategy. And when I say dominant, what I mean is like, I didn't want to dictate the first vote, right? I didn't want to come out there and be like, it needs to be this person because does it need to be that person? Like, I don't know. I've only been there for like 24 hours. I'm very hungry. Like, I don't know what it needs to be, but I want to listen to other people. I'm open to what other people are suggesting. I genuinely like don't I think you come out and you say, I know what my strengths are out there. I also know where my opportunities lie. And I can lead from the side, I can lead from the back, I can lead from the front, but I didn't want to immediately be somebody who's leading from the front. Also, like you see me on screen, I'm like 6 feet tall. I have this like giant mane of blonde hair. Like I stand out. I have never not stood out in my life. And so, like, maybe for better or for worse, I'm not trying to stand out in that dynamic as well. I'm trying to at least go along with the flow kind of. I don't think I pull it off, by the way. I think the moments where I'm like, we can build the shelter however we want are pretty funny.
Yeah, well, you certainly did stand out at Ponderosa because when we listened to all the preseason interviews, you were living, rent-free in the minds of so many of the players in some good ways and some bad ways. Did anything surprise you when you heard about how people perceived you in the days leading up to the game?
Rob, I am cast on a reality television show. Like, you have to be polarizing almost. You like have to be a person people are going to have opinions about. Like, no, it doesn't surprise me that people might not have liked me. Like, that's how I had a really easy casting experience.
Yeah, you're a no-brainer.
No, yeah, like of course folks are gonna have opinions about me. I will say, like, I was doing my damnedest not to stand out. Like, I was really trying. And so the fact that I was trying so hard not to stand out and still couldn't accomplish that basic task is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, let me not write in my notebook as soon as we sit down in the airport because I don't want people to think I'm strategic. And I was like, let me not do crosswords. Let me like watercolor instead because like who hates the watercolor girl? Like, I was really trying to sort of soften some of my more corporate edges. But like I exist in the world. I exist in this body. I am who I am. My nails are always painted. Like I kind of can't help it. And that's a learning for me. That's like something I've taken away from this is like, wow, I just like I'm a person who stands out to people. Okay. Cool.
Stephanie, can you help us get a sense of what happened on the puzzle? Because it seemed like that you all had a lead and then it got down to just a couple of pieces. So what was the issue on the puzzle?
I mean, I didn't practice puzzles enough. I didn't buy that one off of Etsy. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's we were really close. I think it's not clear to the viewer, and now I've seen this twice. It's not clear to the viewer just how far behind we were on the crate. Like getting that crate up the ramp was really challenging for Bula, and we were strategically like not running it the right way. We should have had more people down at the bottom. That's my bad. Like fully own that one. Um, but we also, I don't think that the audience is fully aware of how injured Kevin was. Like Kevin has a dislocated shoulder after the first marooning challenge. And so we're doing that puzzle with 3 arms. And those pieces are heavy and they require multiple hands to get them into a spot. And it's a survival puzzle. So like they always like just don't fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like so close. And it's a reverse puzzle. So it's the same on the back and the front, but you guys don't see also we like go on the other side of the puzzle and like sassy Jeff comes out and is like, you better get the fuck on the other side of that puzzle. Like we're not allowed to stand over there.
Okay.
So like you're only allowed to see the front of it as you're doing it. So it was just really, it was a hard puzzle. We started from behind, and I think we were a little bit like literally, we had like literally were doing it with a hand tied behind our back because
Yeah.
between Kevin, that we only had 3 arms on
Okay,
it.
but Stephanie, here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Kevin seems like a lovely guy. How come nobody gets mad at him that the puzzle didn't get completed? Why do they blame it all on you?
so charming. Come on, it's Look, Kevin is playing a really good strategic game out there. He's really, um, sort of deep in it with everybody. I am sad that the Stephanie Kevin alliance doesn't make air. Like, he and I were also close, and I felt like he was somebody I was one of the people I was closest to on the tribe. Um, but, like, it's called scapegoating. Like, it's called, like, throw you're gonna come up with any reason you can to make somebody else be the first boot and have it not be you. Like, that's it. And of course, Kevin is like, yeah, it was her on the puzzle. Like, of course, like that's how it works. That's the game.
Mhm.
Like, good for them.
All right, you talked about your relationship with Kevin. What was your relationship like with Cedric and Justin?
Oh my God, they're both so lovely. Like, they're genuinely such lovely dudes. I um I spent a lot of time. I think this is something that just doesn't make air, and because it's 2 hours and yet you still can't get enough, right? Um, I spent a lot of time with people one-on-one trying to get to know them, like trying to understand them. Like I know how many seats there are at Luigi's in Revere, Massachusetts, right? Like I know how big the restaurant is that Justin's family runs and has run for decades. Like I know the names of Cedric's kids. Like, and I know that Caleb's at school in New Orleans, which is a city that I have really strong ties to. Like I had like good chit chat relationships with them, but where I always fell short was trying to get them to talk game with me.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
had no interest in it.
Well, we saw the conversation where Say early on ends up talking to you, and you're talking. What should we talk about if somebody else is coming? It's like, oh, we'll just talk about my mom. You said, well, I really do want to know about your mom. And it seems like to us, Say is like, listen, I'm not here to play the get to know you game. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go make an alliance. Do you feel like that could have been an alliance with Say had that gone differently?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, maybe.
Hmm.
I I think it's like I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to tell. Like I think it's hard to tell. Um and it's one of the great mysteries I have post game is like what those kind of like coulda, woulda, shouldas or things that could have been
Yeah.
that but the Surrey Field's tenets of Survivor say that like you should never take anybody out of the running to work with them, right? Everybody should be someone you're willing to work with, and you should really be weighing and evaluating all of your options. So like I would have worked with Say, I would have worked with anybody out there. Like that's you sort of look at the landscape and you say, who is somebody who I can at least start the game with and start working with?
Okay. Stephanie, what was it about Say that was such a clash of personalities in terms of you two getting on the same page?
I don't I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that was never I think it's again, I think it's kind of a mystery to me. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything that you feel like we didn't get to find out about your story from your time on Survivor?
Hmm. Um, I mean, there's I was there 3 days. There's like a million things about my story we don't get to find out. Um, I went out there and it was kind of up in the air as to whether I was gonna maybe for production it was a little bit more up in the air, but like my mom was really sick during casting. My mom passed away 7 weeks before we went out and played.
Sorry,
Uh,
Stephanie.
Thank you. And she was so proud of me. She thought this was the coolest thing,
Yeah.
and was so excited for me. And it's as far as she knows, I won the million.
Hmm.
Uh, and like that was something that was really special. And I will never not be grateful for all of the hope and excitement that Survivor gave me in the period of time leading up to all of that. It happened almost in lockstep.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll also just go ahead and say like Survivor production could not have been more caring or understanding or kind to me in all of it. And I am like remarkably grateful to them for the ways that they took care of me too.
Okay. Well, Stephanie, I know you need to run, but I told you this on Saturday when I saw you that I know you did a lot of research leading up
And
to the
stop
show.
it. Stop it,
And
stop
I
it,
know
stop
it
it, stop
didn't
it.
work out, but I would be dying to hear all of your findings, all of your research. I know the listeners would too. So I hope that one of these days, if you're up for it, we can get into a full-on presentation.
We do it. I have so think why going to first tribal is not good. Like we've got some math on that. We've
Yes,
got math
I
on
hear.
like
Yeah,
who
yeah.
to put on the jury versus not put on the jury. We've got math on when to play your shot in the dark. I would
I would love
love
it
to
too.
talk.
Okay. Stephanie,
Cool.
thank you for taking the time to talk about all
Ah,
this. Hope you're doing great and hope we can talk again soon.
awesome. Good to
Okay.
see you, Rob.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Good to see you too. Bye.
Bye, hon.